starting with you.
Great. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Well, they want me to talk about Florida and the results in 2010. And I can't really do that without going back a little bit further. I'm doing it quickly for hopefully your interest. You know, Florida started out as a state populated only in its very north, the Panhandle, because below that were Indians who knew how to fight pretty good, billions of mosquitoes, and just untenable territory. And our first residents were made up primarily of people fleeing the states for one reason or another. And there was, you know, lived in agriculture, a few things. Of course, that was after 300 years after the Spanish had built St. Augustine and Pensacola. And the reason that's relevant is because it left a lot of resilient cattle. And the reason why that's relevant is because the only time Florida started making any money was when the Southern Army decided to ask these Floridians that they needed cattle for their army and feed their army. And so that's why North Floridians are called crackers. They went after all these loose cattle throughout the state of Florida and rounded them up, got paid handsomely for their efforts, as you usually do during war. And so you had 4 or 5 guys who led this effort and became truly Florida's founders. Their names are in some of our larger counties like Collier County and so on and so forth. And so those guys managed to, the federal government owned about 80% of the state, and those guys now had a change in their pocket, and the state became a state in the 1860s, and they talked their leaders into getting the federal government to sell them land pretty cheap, and that's how Florida's early fortunes began. It began getting populated, other than in North Florida, by the railroads when Henry